We've talked about the individual efforts of these two Toledo greats, but for a better look at the volleyball season as a whole, Nicole Weaving brings us the latest, getting to know the Rockets with head coach Jason Oliver.
Volleyball season is officially wrapped up, so no better time for our Getting to Know segment to be joined by the head coach, Jason Oliver. Thanks so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me here. I appreciate your time.
So looking back on the year that was, the team finished 14-17, but got big wins over Bowling Green and made it to the MAC semifinals. How do you look back on this season?
I mean, obviously with mixed emotions, I think we definitely showed that we can play high-level volleyball, especially here at the end. Beating Bowling Green mid-season obviously is a good thing for us too. But I think we had such a senior-led team that it's hard for us to see them all go.
Mentioning the seniors, how will this class be remembered, especially with the legacy of Taylor Alt and Ryan Jakeway historically?
Well, thankfully, Taylor's coming back, so we're going to get her for another year. But I think this entire group of seniors is transformative. I mean, our program has always been kind of maligned and mediocre throughout the years. But to finally have a good volleyball team at Toledo is primarily because of these giants that just came through this program over the last 3 or 4 years. The best thing that I can tell this group is, one, they're great to work with and all that kind of stuff. They're wonderful student athletes, but they're transformative. They've changed the outlook for any volleyball player to put on a Rocket uniform forever.
For you, before taking over as the Rockets, your longest stint was spent as the head coach at High Point. What did you learn during that stretch that has shaped you into the coach you are now? You
grow as a coach, and just like you grow as a student athlete. I feel like I've been doing this for a long time, and looking back at my time there, you know, I made a bunch of mistakes, but I was able to correct the ship. And I think I haven't made a lot of those mistakes here when it comes to starting a new program and how I wanted myself to be viewed by the eyes of the student athlete. So I really feel like our program is on very solid ground because of the experience that I had in North Carolina and because of the experiences I had with those student athletes.
Beyond High Point, you also spent times in other conferences like the Big Ten, the Atlantic 10. But just what do you like most about the kind of parity and competition of the MAC?
Yeah, I haven't been in a conference where there's been this much parity. I mean, to be honest with you, every single team has basically the same footprint, and we're basically in the same region. We recruit the same players. You know, we have the same budgets. We have the same type of facilities. So when you look at it across the board, there really is not a lot of separation. I mean, obviously, every single coach in the league is top quality. Every single student athlete expects that battle when you put on when you go to battle every single week in the MAC, but. You know, I just love the fact that it's a regional conference that with a lot of tradition. You know, we're not moving around, we're not running into different leagues, we're not looking for the next dollar. There's a lot of tradition that goes along with volleyball in the MAC, and it's been one of the best sports in the MAC conference, hands down, over the last 30 years.
Certainly makes conference play so exciting because you never know who's going to come out on top in either game. But I always end off these segments with a couple of rapid-fire questions. So, Coach, let's start off with, who would be a dream team you'd love for Toledo to schedule?
Well, I would have to say Cal Poly. I know that's maybe a little bit out of there, but I'd love to take my team out there to see where my parents live, out in California. I'm originally born and raised in California, but I really think that would be a fun experience for them to go out there and see the central coast of California, get out there to the ocean and play against a team, and that's always been a high level.
Speaking of that, what is the thing you miss the most about the Gold Coast?
Oh, my family, obviously. I don't miss much of the traffic, to be honest with you. I'm Midwest through and through at this point. I think I've lived longer in the Midwest than I have in California, but my family still lives there, and so that's the connection with my parents, the connection with my sister and their family is probably the thing I miss the most.
And finally, as a former setter, what would you say is the most important quality that you can have for that position?
Leadership. Yeah, I definitely think being a great leader, and you're basically the quarterback on the floor, the ball touches your hands every single second. And if you're the heartbeat of the team and you're the leader of the team, it's really something that we look for in our setters every time we go to get them.
All right, perfect. Well, thanks so much for joining me today, Coach.
Thank you very much.